Listen, I'm gonna tell you something that might sting at first, but it will change everything once it clicks. The truth is, the more you chase, the more they run. But the moment you pull back, the moment you stop attaching your worth to someone else's attention, something powerful happens. Many can't resist it. Detachment isn't about playing games. It's about reclaiming your power, your peace, and your confidence. And when you step into that, everything shifts. When you understand that detachment creates mystery and magnetic pull, everything about the way you show up in relationships begins to change. Most people believe that if they want someone's love, attention, or commitment, they have to give more, chase harder, or prove their worth by being endlessly available. But here's the truth: the more you chase, the more you smother the natural space that allows attraction to grow. When you detach, you stop pouring all your energy into being seen, and instead you begin to hold yourself in a way that others can't help but notice. There's something about not being accessible all the time that makes people lean in closer. It creates curiosity. It makes someone wonder what you're doing, who you're becoming, and why you no longer orbit your entire life around them. That curiosity is the seed of attraction, and it grows stronger the less you force it. Think about it. Have you ever wanted something so badly that you suffocated it before it had a chance to breathe? That's exactly what happens when you attach too quickly and too tightly in relationships. You take away the air that mystery needs to survive. Detachment doesn't mean ignoring someone or shutting them out completely. It's not about playing cold or pretending you don't care. Detachment is about redirecting your energy inward instead of spilling it outward. It's choosing to invest in your own growth, your own joy, your own confidence, so that you're no longer desperate for anyone to validate you. And here's the irony: the moment you stop trying to force connection, the connection starts chasing you. There is a magnetic quality to someone who is self-assured and not anxiously clinging to outcomes. When you detach, you are essentially saying, "I am whole without you, but if you want to join my life, you're welcome." That statement, even when unspoken, is incredibly attractive. It's rooted in abundance, not fear. People can feel the difference between someone who is desperate to be chosen and someone who knows they are already enough. Detachment is that silent confidence, and it makes others want to earn a place in your world. It flips the script from you chasing them to them chasing you. Another powerful aspect of detachment is the way it shifts your energy. When you are deeply attached to someone, your moods, your thoughts, and even your decisions revolve around them. You wait for their text, you wonder about their feelings, you obsess about their actions. That energy is heavy, and it repels rather than attracts. But when you detach, you reclaim that energy and put it into yourself. Suddenly you're glowing differently, walking differently, speaking differently. People sense the change, and it's compelling. They want to know why you're no longer hanging on their every move. That shift creates a gravitational pull, and that pull is irresistible. The truth is, detachment is not about love being weaker, it's about love being healthier. When you're detached, you give space for both people to breathe and grow. You stop trying to control, and you allow the natural rhythm of attraction to unfold. And ironically, that space you create doesn't push people away, it draws them closer. They feel safe, they feel intrigued, and they feel inspired to pursue you more deeply. Detachment creates mystery, and mystery creates a magnetic pull that is far stronger than any chase ever could. Confidence grows when you stop chasing validation, and this shift is one of the most transformative things you can do for yourself and for the way others respond to you. Most people spend so much of their lives looking outward for approval, waiting for someone else to tell them they're good enough, attractive enough, smart enough, or worthy of love. That constant hunt for validation keeps you trapped in a cycle where your value depends on how others see you, and the truth is, no one else can ever consistently give you the validation you crave. When you learn to stop chasing it, you begin to discover a deeper, unshakable confidence that no one can take away. Think about how it feels when you're waiting for someone to notice you, to compliment you, or to acknowledge what you bring to the table. You put all the power in their hands. If they give you attention, you feel good for a moment, but if they don't, you spiral into self-doubt. That roller coaster is exhausting, and it's why so many people feel anxious in relationships. Confidence doesn't come from being constantly reassured. It comes from the decision to validate yourself first. It comes from knowing that your worth is not negotiable, that it isn't something that rises and falls depending on whether someone else sees it. The fascinating thing is, once you stop chasing validation, people start to view you differently. They can sense the difference between someone who needs approval to feel whole and someone who carries themselves with certainty regardless of outside opinions. That certainty is magnetic. When you walk into a room not needing to be liked, not needing anyone to tell you you're enough, you radiate a calm confidence that pulls others in. It's not arrogance, it's self-assurance. And self-assurance is one of the most attractive qualities a person can have. By releasing the need to chase validation, you free yourself from people-pleasing behaviors. You no longer feel the pressure to overgive, overshare, or overextend just to earn someone's appreciation. Instead, you move with authenticity, you speak your truth, you set your boundaries, and you honor your own needs without apology. And when you do that, something powerful happens. People begin to respect you more. They recognize that you don't rely on their approval to feel complete, and that independence creates both admiration and intrigue. It shows that your confidence comes from within, and that makes others want to rise to meet you rather than take advantage of you. There's also a deep sense of freedom that comes from this shift. When you stop chasing validation, you stop living under the weight of other people's opinions. You no longer shrink yourself to fit what you think they want. You no longer exaggerate your achievements or hide your flaws out of fear of rejection. Instead, you allow yourself to be fully seen, and you're okay with the fact that not everyone will approve. That freedom liberates your energy and allows you to channel it into your goals, your passions, and your growth. And ironically, the more you focus inward, the more recognition and validation you attract. Only this time, it comes as a byproduct of your confidence, not as the source of it. When you stop chasing validation, you step into a version of yourself that is grounded, powerful, and authentic. You no longer beg for scraps of approval because you've built a foundation of confidence that stands on its own. And the more you live from that place, the more others are drawn to you, not because you need them to be, but because confidence, real confidence, is impossible to resist. Emotional control is more powerful than constant availability, and it is often the hidden difference between relationships that thrive and those that crumble. Many people believe that showing up all the time, being endlessly accessible, and constantly proving their devotion will make them more desirable. But the truth is, availability without boundaries eventually loses its value. When you are always on call, always giving, and always reacting, the other person stops appreciating your presence because it becomes too predictable. What creates attraction and respect isn't constant access. It's the strength to control your emotions and choose your responses with intention. Emotional control doesn't mean shutting down or pretending you don't feel things. It means having the ability to pause before reacting, to step back when you're triggered, and to resist the urge to explode or cling when things don't go your way. That kind of control is powerful because it shows maturity, strength, and self-respect. When you can remain calm in the face of conflict, when you can withhold the need to immediately respond to every text or every demand, you demonstrate that your emotions don't rule you, you rule them. And that is one of the most attractive traits a person can display. When you are constantly available, your energy becomes diluted. You give and give, hoping that the more accessible you are, the more the other person will appreciate you. Instead, the opposite often happens. People start to take you for granted because there's no scarcity, no space, no pause that allows them to miss you. Emotional control creates that space. It allows you to step back, to let silence do the talking, to let your absence remind them of your value. You don't need to prove your importance through constant availability. You prove it by holding your ground and refusing to be consumed by someone else's behavior. There's also an undeniable power in showing that you won't be shaken by emotional chaos. Relationships are full of ups and downs, disagreements, and moments of uncertainty. When you lack emotional control, those moments can spiral into drama, overreactions, and desperate attempts to fix everything immediately. But when you hold your composure, you send a clear message: you are stable, you are grounded, and you are not easily manipulated. That steadiness is magnetic because it signals safety. It shows the other person that you are not fragile, not desperate, and not someone who can be pushed off balance by temporary feelings. The truth is, attraction is fueled by contrast. Constant availability erases contrast because it removes the dynamic tension that makes relationships exciting. Emotional control restores that contrast by reminding the other person that you have a choice in how you show up. You can give love, but you don't give it blindly. You can be present, but not at the cost of your dignity. You can care deeply, but you will not beg for reciprocation. That balance of care and restraint creates intrigue. It leaves room for the other person to lean in, to wonder, and to pursue you more actively. When you master emotional control, you stop chasing reassurance and start commanding respect. You begin to notice that people listen more when you speak less, that they value your time more when you don't always give it freely, and that they pursue your attention harder when they see you won't hand it out on demand. It's not about playing games, it's about understanding human nature. Scarcity creates value, and calm composure creates influence. Together, they make you magnetic. Emotional control gives you that power, a power far greater than being constantly available ever could. Self-respect sets the standard for how others treat you, and the way you carry yourself teaches people what they can and cannot get away with in your presence. When you respect yourself, you draw clear boundaries, you communicate your worth without having to beg for it, and you refuse to tolerate behavior that diminishes you. The problem is, many people forget that relationships are a mirror. If you don't respect yourself, others will reflect that lack of respect back to you. If you accept less than you deserve, people will continue giving you less. But when you walk in self-respect, when you show that you honor your own needs, your own values, and your own boundaries, others quickly learn that they must rise to meet your standards or lose the privilege of access to you. Self-respect is not about arrogance or building walls to shut others out. It's about alignment. It's about living in a way that matches your values and making sure your choices reflect the kind of life and love you know you deserve. When you have self-respect, you stop chasing people who are inconsistent, who play games, or who treat you as if you're disposable. You recognize the red flags early, and instead of making excuses for someone's poor behavior, you step back and say, "This does not work for me." That decision alone shifts the power dynamic because it communicates that your worth is not negotiable. People begin to see that your time, energy, and love are valuable, and if they want to stay in your life, they must handle those things with care. One of the strongest signals of self-respect is the ability to walk away when something no longer serves you. So many people stay in relationships out of fear. Fear of being alone, fear of starting over, fear of what others might think. But the willingness to walk away is not weakness, it is power. It's the clearest demonstration that you will not settle for crumbs when you know you are worthy of the feast. That strength doesn't just command respect from others, it also builds a deeper respect for yourself. Every time you stand firm in your boundaries, every time you refuse to shrink for someone else's comfort, you reinforce to yourself that you are worthy of more, and that self-belief radiates outward, shaping the way others see you and treat you. Self-respect also transforms the way you communicate. Instead of begging for someone to understand you or constantly over-explaining to be taken seriously, you learn to speak with clarity and confidence. You express your needs without apology, and you say no without guilt. That kind of presence is magnetic because it shows strength. People feel it in your tone, in your body language, in the way you enter a room. They sense that you are not someone who can be easily manipulated or swayed, and that makes them step up their own behavior around you. When you respect yourself, you elevate the entire dynamic. The beautiful part about self-respect is that it doesn't just affect how others treat you. It affects how you treat yourself. You make better choices, you set higher goals, you take care of your body, your mind, and your spirit because you know you're worth the effort. That inner alignment creates confidence, and that confidence naturally draws others in. People are drawn to someone who honors themselves because it inspires them to do the same. Self-respect is the silent boundary that speaks louder than words, and it is the ultimate filter for relationships. The more you embody it, the more you notice that only those who truly value you remain, and that is exactly how it should be. True attraction comes from independence, not dependency, and the difference between the two determines whether a connection thrives or suffocates. When you are independent, you radiate strength, freedom, and self-sufficiency. You show that you are capable of creating your own happiness, pursuing your own goals, and standing on your own 2 feet. That independence is magnetic because it removes pressure from the relationship. Instead of needing someone else to complete you, you invite them to complement you. Instead of clinging to their presence out of fear, you choose to share your presence because you want to, not because you have to. That choice makes every interaction more meaningful because it's rooted in desire, not desperation. Dependency, on the other hand, creates imbalance. When your sense of worth or happiness hinges on another person, you hand them control over your emotional state. You rely on their attention, their approval, or their actions to feel okay, and that weight quickly becomes overwhelming for both people. The dependent person feels constant anxiety about being left, and the other person feels suffocated by the responsibility of carrying someone else's happiness. It's not sustainable, and it often leads to resentment, distance, and eventually disconnection. True attraction fades in dependency because it replaces freedom with obligation. Independence keeps attraction alive because it preserves individuality. When you have your own passions, your own circle, and your own identity outside the relationship, you bring richness into the connection. You're not just orbiting around the other person, you're expanding your own world and inviting them to be part of it. That creates a dynamic of curiosity and respect. They're intrigued by who you are when you're not with them. They admire your drive, your ability to stand alone, and your refusal to lose yourself just because you're with someone else. Independence keeps the spark alive because it ensures you never stop being interesting, and mystery is a powerful element of attraction. Another reason independence fuels attraction is the confidence it creates. When you know you can stand on your own, you move differently. You don't beg for attention, you don't cling out of fear, and you don't tolerate treatment that diminishes you. That self-assurance is impossible to ignore. It communicates without words that you are with someone because you choose to be, not because you can't survive without them. That kind of energy makes people lean in closer because they feel the value of your presence. They understand that your time and love are gifts, not obligations, and that makes them cherish it more. Independence also builds healthier connections because it balances giving and receiving. A dependent dynamic often drains one person while the other gives endlessly, but independence creates reciprocity. Two whole individuals come together not to fix each other, but to grow with each other. That balance allows love to flourish without losing freedom. Each person respects the other's space, dreams, and individuality, and that respect strengthens the bond. It transforms the relationship into a partnership rather than a cage. The irony is that independence doesn't push people away, it draws them in. People are naturally attracted to those who stand tall on their own, who have lives that are full and fulfilling regardless of who is standing beside them. Independence creates a pull that dependency never can because it's rooted in strength rather than fear. When you embody independence, you don't need to chase love or beg for attention. You live fully, and in doing so, you attract deeply. That is the essence of true attraction, and it's why independence will always be more powerful than dependency.